Hi and welcome back to the Saving Europe YouTube channel. For those that are new to this channel, this type of tech reviewing is actually not something we usually do. I'm a novelist and historian who had decided to expand his latest book's utility by becoming an itinerant filmmaker. Joined by my two elder children, Thomas and William, I crossed and recrossed the Alps in 2018 on the trail of two titans in the history of Western civilization. We became travelling documentary filmmakers on a real budget, and we had an amazing time. In fact, I would definitely recommend it if you A. have a story to research and tell, as we did, B. if you want an adventure with a real focus, or C. want to have some quality time with your YouTube-era children by involving them in a joint enterprise where there is a real output that encapsulates that shared adventure. For example, this trip is not really about us at all, and yet tangentially we get snippets of our family at work in a specific and unique period of time, something they will be able to treasure for as long as YouTube or Amazon Prime endures. The following video was shot in the Rhone Alps, where we were following the trail of a French politician escaping from the Nazis in the 1940s. One evening we found a bluff over an alpine lake where we stayed up late as usual playing cards. And then the next morning, after breakfast, I couldn't find the washing up liquid, and so, in a fit of organisational tyranny, I decided to pull the van to bits in order to prove to myself that it really did exist. And in so doing, I realised that it was the ideal time to add up how much we'd actually spent on gear. And what an amazing location to do it as well. Okay, welcome. Right, so this is our people want to know how we did this, and I want to just say at the outset that we are rookie filmmakers. That's not Wookie. Wookiees are slightly hairier. But
such a happy Chewbacca!
I mean, the camera I'm filming on now, for example, is the Panasonic Lumix GH3, which is just the greatest piece of kit that you can imagine. That cost us £330, and now they're on to like the GH6, 3 models up, and they're, you know, thousands. But that has got some great features. So that's like being our saviour. And there's plenty of idiot settings is what we need. We're recording the sound on a Rode Video Mic Pro. I did a little bit of research and figured that going for the Pro version was a lot better, a lot more flexible. They're about £150 new, we got it for £75 on Gumtree, I think. Took the risk, bought it, and haven't regretted it, because it has, you can go kind of minus 10 decibels, you can go plus. It means you can turn down the amplifier inside the camera, so there's no noise. For example, today there's quite a lot of road noise down there, so we flicked it to minus 10 decibels, and we're hoping that you're getting more of me, less of them. We're filming today in the beautiful the Alps, between on our way down toward Turin in North Italy, and we just thought it's a nice spot, quietish, and I needed to try and find the washing up liquid. So I thought getting all the gear out of the car would be a great idea, but we still haven't found the washing up liquid. Okay, first of all, £20, the slider. This little bit of kit will save you, I mean, £20 maybe. Ours is a little bit, I've got some extra bits on it because I lost them. Make sure you screw them up tight. I've got this little stand on here which is very flexible, and if you see, you just undo one knob and 3 joints all loosen. That was about £7, absolutely brilliant. So that means you can have a camera, and if you've got it on an angle going down, you can do this rising slide. And this is, you know, 60 centimeters, doesn't look much, but the effect is unbelievable. I've got the, just because we've got other cameras doing other things, we've been putting the GoPro on that. I got the GoPro Hero 4 for about £100. Box of accessories was about £8. There's a few other bits knocking around. The GoPro is so handy for this kind of work because you're in and out of places. You know, I have it in the top pocket, I'm in the middle of an interview, I whip it out, I just turn it on, boom. So the GoPro, really worth every penny. And of course you can go underwater and you can, so really recommend the GoPro. I did reading up about the cheaper versions of action cameras because I like much cheapness. But, you know, every now and again I come across, you know, kind of a review and it made me think, I'm not going to risk this while I'm out investing so much of my time. So GoPro, really excellent, worth having. Great backup. Okay, let's have a couple of little bits. I don't know what I've got in here. I've not had this box open.
This is worth every penny!
I've not used that. That's a small data bank. Some bits for the GoPro, chest harness that came with the helmet. Little tip there, if you're going to be using a bike, don't clip it onto the handlebars. If you're going, clip it onto a chest. Actually, you know, sometimes I just hold it as I ride along. It doesn't look brilliant, but yeah. Okay, here's a nice little something. These were £7 each. This is so it's a light fitting that you can put a white one on. They take batteries, they plug in. They're about 1,000 lumens each. So that could be very, very handy. I got 2 of those. Very, very handy in a tight spot. We have used them once, I think, in Ireland, filming inside a monastic hovel or a hut. I bought one of these. Okay for, you know, that's fine for a light camera, no good for a DSLR. So I know you can get these other ones called Gorilla something or other, but I think they would be quite handy actually for a run and gun situation. I bought that to put on the camera, and you can see you've got, I mean, maybe it's £5. It's got, you know, things for clipping, shoes for clipping, an extra mic or a light on. So that could be very handy if you just want to have one hand. Nothing much in there. This is probably what we should have on the lens right now to stop the light coming across. We've got a little box full of bits and pieces. Bits of rope, a lot of screws and different clips and bits and bobs and leads, and we haven't had this out. But it's always handy if you have a failure. You need to know how to, you know, if you lose a screw, let's say on here, how am I going to prop that up in future? So I've got a few spares. Okay, so that's that box. Let's do a nice big bit of equipment now. This was the last purchase before we left. We had it sent. This is a Feihu. William, by the way, is very kindly writing all this down. This is the Feihu Tech. Is it G Plus, William? Something like the G Plus. It'll take a mirrorless camera. It's £190. I think if you've got time, we didn't have time because we were messed around by another seller on eBay. But if you've got time, you can get these for under £100. And that means, I mean, the technology's just amazing, really. So it'll take out your shake. It's a stable access gimbal. You can attach this. You can attach this, for example, to the monopod. And then of course, because of the way it works, you could, and we're going to use it like this, have a what is basically a movie crane, and that brings me on to the monopod, which I love. I bought this for my daughter actually, £20. Because of what we're doing, which is going into cities, cycling in sometimes, dashing about in museums, the monopod is your best friend. I regret in some ways not having a more fancy one now, because a lot of museums say, oh, you can't have no tripods. Well, if you walk in like this, it doesn't look like you've got a tripod. In fact, the security guards usually clock you. We noticed in Paris, around the French Foreign Ministry and places like that, the National Assembly, they gave the police gave you a second look walking around like that. So, of course, what you make up for with lightness, you lose with stability. It's good to use like this when you're filming on the minimum setting. but it's not stable higher up, so you've got to wait while it's sort of, and then a bit of wind comes and it starts blowing, and so it's not ideal. It'd be great if it had an oil-filled head, which it doesn't have, like one of our others does. But of course that's so heavy, you know, you can't carry that around. That brings us on to a great little camera we got virtually for free. This is a Panasonic DMC GF5. We bought it because of the lens. We needed a lens that was a bit better for landscape. So I was just looking on eBay. This was there. It has this was, you know, the lenses were about 115 quid. We needed a light lens because we wanted to be able to use it with the gimbal. We're right on the limit with that Tech gimbal with our mirrorless camera, and we wanted to have a longer lens if we needed it. And this has been brilliant because in a situation we could film with 3 cameras, and we have done. So let's say you've got, you know, the Lumix is picking up the sound. This camera is over there filming maybe the interviewee subject face, and then we've got the GoPro on the slider going backwards and forwards, and you can cut between those. And hopefully, and if there's a glitch or if that camera doesn't in the autofocus and goes on something else suddenly, it means that you can cut to a different camera. You know, and it's free while you've got the gear. Once you bought it, to actually film it is free, so just switch it on. Okay, so yeah, monopod, excellent, £20. So this camera, the lens was £115, and the camera, I'm just going to say it was £15. That's all we paid because we bought it with the lens. So that yeah, proved to be a real fantastic buy. The gimbal was 190. Okay. And this is in no particular order. This was $5.99, I think, and it's actually 6 in 1, and you just keep on zipping, and there's diffusers, reflectors, etc. Tom, can you take that and pack it up? £6. Okay, a bit more gear. I bought this rucksack, and it has been handy on occasions. It was £8. We put the headphones. There's a Philips headphones, £10. We bought a few lav mics, they're the lapel mics, and we haven't used them. I got one, I forget, one was £10, one was £30. I thought we should have a really good one, but just because of the way we're filming, just haven't used those. So I keep them in there. I've got a longer lead, I'll explain why. So this is a boom, £20 for the boom. So it's very lightweight, it's a mic boom. And this will go on to here, just a regular mic stand. And that, with an elastic band, will stay on here, and you can have that mic just above your subject for an interview. So I've got a 30-meter lead, I think. No, maybe it's 10 meters, 10-meter lead, and maybe a 4-meter lead. And they were, this was 20. The mic stand we already had. The leads were something like £3 and £5, just at £8 on leads. Then I started worrying because I thought, you know, what if the mic fails, if we break the lead and we're halfway through? My insurance policy, and this is what you do with gear, you sort of buy one thing, then you buy another just in case. This was £30, I think it's Tascam, really well reviewed. Again, it's got some of the similar settings to the Video Mic Pro, but I thought, yeah, let's have that. One of my thoughts was that we would rig up the GoPro with it, and we have done that, and it has worked, and then unaccountably one day it didn't work, and I just lost confidence, because our GoPro is the, I think it's called silver, not the black. The black one, I think, has the screen at the back, which, you know, you can read stuff on, whereas this, you just don't know till you finish filming. A little tip that we learned was we were getting that kind of green footage, you know, where you get those lines in purple and green. and I've been reformatting it and it got better, but it was still unreliable. And I was just going to get a new disc. But then I did a long reformat on the PC, and it's been really good since then. Okay, so that's the little Tascam mic, 30 quid. I think it was under 27. Okay. I've got my daughter's old phone, which I bought off her for a £5, which has got a great camera. We could use it as a sound recording device as well, particularly for a lav mic. You can just use a phone. The rule I seem to have, I get from professionals is that a bad microphone close up is better than the best microphone far away. Okay, what are we doing? Okay, we got a nice, decent, this was given to my daughter. So this is a really decent stand with an oil-filled head. Really nice for the smooth pans. And that really is the holy grail of is smooth motion, and that's what you're always trying to get. So I've got some other cheaper stands. We had this for a while, and I used this when we were filming at a friend's wedding. Sort of handy. They're good. They're not as good as the slider because there's very few surfaces smooth enough to use this in a, round the wedding cake, just angle the wheels, and it's okay, but not brilliant. But still, that was £7. I did use this at a wedding. This basically is a set of wheels that goes on a that you attach to your tripod. I did use it. It was £20. But really, it's superseded, I think, because of just setting up time. Finding a smooth enough surface, again, you'd have to have a mirror smooth surface for that to work. So that probably was a duff purchase for us, particularly because this does so many different things. You can pan sideways, you can follow people. Finally, I brought my laptop. This is the interface between us and this Transcend 4 terabyte. I don't know how many we've used. We're halfway through our filming. This was £105. That was a very good price for that. It's shockproof. I looked at the various rates of megabytes per second transfer rates. This actually had an older, one bit was older, but actually the transfer rates were very good, and so yeah, this has been really good. It's sort of bomb proof, and so my laptop I already had, that was 105. I don't know, we keep a few bits and pieces in here, chargers. Let me just have a look. I don't think there's anything else. You start adding up though. Yeah, just a few leads and chargers now. So, what have we learnt? We've learnt plenty, and we've learnt it by our mistakes. Using the autofocus has been a mixed blessing, because it helps you when you're in a diverse, where there's a kind of bandwidth of different things you're filming fast, and you haven't, and that's great for it. But often it's the autofocus has focused. Let's say we're filming me, probably focuses on this tree. It might even be doing that now. I don't even know. What we never bought was a monitor, and I think that probably will be the thing that I would like, because that little screen's so small you can never actually tell, and we should maybe fix the focal length on one of the other settings. We haven't used the neutral density filters, which I've got in here, and we probably ought to be using those today. You might notice that my face is blown out, but like I say, we are rookies.
Okay, now I'm gonna let Chewbacca talk here.
We've embarked on a 28-day, probably 200 location documentary shoot, with very little experience. I mean, I've only had the camera that's filming us for maybe less than a year. So we're learning on the job. We're having an enormous amount of fun. While William's doing that, I'll just show you a few of the other things that we have that we found useful. Let me just clean that screen a bit. So this is, funnily enough, the children bought this with their neighbours for their little film company when they were a lot younger, saved up and they bought this. So we brought it with us, and we haven't used it yet. The idea was that we'd be going into a city, like we'll be going into Pavia in a few days' time. We want to leave the car on the outside, cycle the streets. We have done that in Poitiers, in Paris and places. And the idea was we'd take loads of gear, but actually in the event we never did. Now that the bikes fell off in an accident a week ago, and Will's wheel is buckled, if we don't fix his wheel, I had a thought of maybe towing William. He's only 12. He'd be okay. Anyway, put him in there and he could actually film using the stable access gimbal. So that was an idea. We have the boat, obviously, the boat, and the other thing which we brought and we haven't used, partly because of the way it's strapped on, but is the ladder. It's so that we just wanted to have access, and sometimes if you're at a site, if you're at a place in an archaeological site, you just want to get a bit of perspective. Oh, the other thing we have got, and I haven't said, is the drone. You could probably see it just then. That's a serious bit of kit. Are you going to add the drone on, William, as well? The drone was £220. That was on Amazon. It's got a stable access gimbal, which you just need. You just need it. So there's no other way of doing it. We decided to get one without a camera, so that we could use the GoPro. We'd invest separately in the camera, so we had the right quality frame rate, or the flexibility anyway. So, how's that looking? 1,000, and that's including the drone. Okay, so that's 1,300, yeah? 1,300 pounds. So that's everything. My daughter already has the film editing software. And I reckon, I was thinking last night, it's probably cost us £1,000 in travel costs this trip. Talking about motorway fees, and then petrol and the ferries. We're living pretty reasonably. So maybe the 28-day trip's costing maybe, let's add another few hundred quid, £1,500 at the most. And so that's our cost so far. So yeah, that kind of gives an idea, just to encourage people what can be done. Because we can sleep in our car, in our van, there are no fees. So it's, and you've got apps to tell you where to go, park for night. It's a great app. And so yeah, that's it.
One last thing, we have done one other video like this, and it was shot just a few weeks before back in the UK, which introduces the family, shows us converting the camper van, doing the website, the itinerary planning, unboxing some of the camera gear, and then finally leaving. I'll leave links below in case that's helpful to anyone. If you enjoyed this episode, then please show your appreciation with a comment and perhaps even subscribing to the channel. If you have questions, drop them below. And if you want to go deeper into the subject, then please check out the Saving Europe book and the other videos on the channel, especially the Book Distillery podcast, where me and my blue-collar scholar friends go deeper into top academic guests from around the world. So until next time, thanks for watching.